The truth hurts, and today, it's screaming in the Emerald City. I'm Ethan Carter, your buddy in the stands and your eye in the film room, and I've got an uncomfortable question. Who is defining the identity of the 2025 Seahawks? Kenneth Walker exploded just when he was being questioned. McDonald's pass rush bit down on quarterbacks like a starving dog. A quiet dog named Josh Jobe locked down half the field, and Devin Witherspoon might just play without even practicing. Highs and lows, euphoria and caution. Are we looking at a false dawn, or is this a team finally learning how to win ugly? Take a deep breath. 12th man. The next play could change everything. All right, my fellow Seattle Seahawks fan, before we dive into the details this Wednesday with the latest on our team, I've got to ask you for a favor. If you follow the Seahawks Insider Report and you like our analysis but you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely crucial for the channel and helps our community of Seahawks fans keep on growing. Thanks so much for your support. A full-blown breakout. How can a team that looked lost in certain spots suddenly come back to life with so much force on the field? Week 2 brought a narrative shift that no fans saw coming. The coaching staff stuck to their guns, keeping Kenneth Walker III as the starter, and against the Pittsburgh Steelers, he didn't just justify their faith, he made it crystal clear he can still put the offense on his back. The situation wasn't exactly ideal. Without Devin Witherspoon, the defense needed a breather, and that was only going to happen if the offense had some consistent answers. Walker delivered with 105 rushing yards, including a 19-yard touchdown that was a thing of beauty, spinning, accelerating, and breaking tackles like a blur weaving through steel cabinets. But the technical breakdown reveals something even deeper. Zach Charbonnet, who was supposed to be the engine of consistency, just couldn't replicate that same explosiveness. His short runs, almost always up the gut, barely produced an offensive spark, showing his role is to complement, not to lead. The coaching staff knows this, and that's exactly why they kept Walker in that spot. So here's the question. Is it worth betting on a player who's so hot and cold? Yes, because when he's on, the impact is devastating. A veteran fan's take. It's impossible not to see flashes of past greats in Walker, like Sean Alexander on those days when he seemed unstoppable, when all he needed was one crease for the entire fan base to jump out of their seats. He has that all-or-nothing aura that keeps the flame alive, even when he frustrates you with a run for negative yards. The impact, therefore, goes beyond the scoreboard. Walker changes the entire feel of the game, gives the offensive line confidence, and forces opposing defenses to brace for the worst. And we can't ignore the financial angle. Heading into the final year of his rookie deal, every explosive run is also a run towards a fat new contract, maybe outside of Seattle if the team doesn't move fast. This creates a fascinating internal tension. Charbonnet as the safety net, Walker as the unstable star who can define seasons. So for you, the fan, the question that keeps nagging is, which profile do you prefer? Predictable consistency or unpredictable explosion? Either way, the choice has been made. Kenneth Walker is the guy, and his performance against the Steelers screams it. But while the offense is showing signs of life, the defense sent an even more deafening message in that same game, something that redefines the Seahawks' identity in 2025 and sets the stage for a debate nobody can ignore. Is the true face of this team its suffocating pressure on opposing quarterbacks? Was that a surprise or a warning? What we saw against Aaron Rodgers wasn't a fluke, man. It was a declaration of war. Mike McDonald's defense turned the field into a minefield, pressuring the quarterback on 40% of his dropbacks while rushing only 4 guys. That's not normal. That's suffocating. In Week 1, lapses in coverage let Brock Purdy shine even under pressure. But against the Steelers, it was a completely different story. Rodgers, who has punished us with deep balls so many times, was held to just 2 completions on 9 attempts over 10 yards, including an interception that had the whole stadium erupting in cheers. Technically, the key is the disciplined execution of a scheme brought over from Baltimore. Constant pressure without sacrificing the secondary. Byron Murphy, Jaron Reed, and Leonard Williams all split the sacks, proving that this isn't about one superstar, but a well-oiled machine. And this is where the nostalgia kicks in. When was the last time you, as a fan, saw a Seahawks defense this coordinated? Maybe back in the Legion of Boom era, when the trust in the entire unit was greater than in any single star. My opinion is clear. This front seven might not have the media hype of a historic defense, but it's building something that is a real problem. The impact is already obvious, not just on the scoreboard, but psychologically. The Steelers, who were riding a 14-game winning streak when leading at halftime, completely fell apart against that blue wall in the second half. The message to the rest of the NFL is crystal clear. In Seattle, quarterbacks can't breathe. But every great defense needs its silent pillars, the guys who do the dirty work without asking for the spotlight. And guess what? An unlikely name has emerged from the pack, a quiet dog, who, in just 2 games, has become the relentless shadow of every receiver he faces. Is it possible that Josh Jobe is the secondary's new lockdown artist? Who would have thought? A year ago, Josh Jobe was just another guy on the practice squad. Today, he's the quiet dog who's shutting down receivers like he's a Pro Bowl veteran. Seattle was betting on Rick Woolen and Devin Witherspoon to be the pillars of the secondary, but it only took 2 weeks for Jobe to completely steal the show. Get a load of these stats. They're insane. Only 2 catches allowed on 8 targets, for a measly 8 yards with 1 interception and a pass breakup. That's a quarterback rating of 0.0 when he's the target. Against Pittsburgh, he went as far as erasing DK Metcalf, one of the most dominant receivers in the entire league. Technically, what Jobe brings is discipline in his positioning, patience at the point of contact, and controlled aggression. He doesn't bite on fakes, he doesn't mistime the ball, and above all else, he radiates confidence. Jobe is one of those stories that gets fans fired up not just because of the play, but because of what it represents. An undrafted guy cut by the Philadelphia Eagles and now becoming a key piece in Seattle. It's living proof that McDonald's culture is starting to pay off. The impact goes way beyond the stat sheet. When a corner locks down his side of the field, the entire system can breathe. Linebackers can attack, safeties can roam, and the pass rush gets that extra split second to punish the quarterback. It all translates to collective dominance. But the big question is, how do you fit Jobe in when Witherspoon comes back? He's already taken snaps from Woolen and seems destined for an even bigger role. So for you, the fan, here's something to think about. Aren't we witnessing the birth of an unlikely new hero? But right there, the tension builds. If Jobe is blossoming into a shutdown corner, what do you do with Witherspoon, who's battling a knee injury, but could be back as soon as this Sunday? This clash between consistency and risk sets up the next chapter almost inevitably. Is it worth risking a Pro Bowler on the field without practice just so he doesn't lose his rhythm? Is it worth playing the dangerous game of putting a Pro Bowler on the field when he hasn't practiced all week? That's what Seattle is weighing with Devin Witherspoon, who missed the game against the Steelers with a sprained MCL in his knee. The context is tricky. He'd started 20 straight games. He's the emotional anchor of the secondary, but after testing his leg with pre-game sprints, he was ultimately ruled out. In his place, Darian Kendrick stepped up at nickel and shined with a clutch interception, while Jobe and Woolen held it down on the outside. Technically, the analysis is simple. Witherspoon is the kind of corner who can play through some pain and still deliver an immediate impact, but throwing anyone out there without practice reps is a recipe for disaster. Mike McDonald himself admitted it. It's a risk you only take with someone as special as Spoon. This is where the fan base is split. Some are screaming for caution, remembering the pain of losing young talents too early. Others want to see blood in the water this Sunday against the Saints, even with no practice, because his presence alone intimidates quarterbacks and juices up the whole unit. The impact isn't just on the passing game. When Witherspoon is on the field, the pass rush gets more confident, the linebackers take more chances, and the entire defense plays on the edge. But the tension doesn't stop there. Nick Emenwari, the promising rookie, is still out with an ankle injury, and the team is now facing a week of physical uncertainty. A curious little detail, even Jalen Sundell, our center, went out with cramps, making way for Oluwatimi. These are small cracks that could turn into bigger problems. And that brings up the big question. Are we talking about a roster with real depth, or are we just surviving from one injury to the next? When you look at the whole picture, Walker proving his worth, the suffocating pass rush, Job coming out of nowhere, and Witherspoon risking a return without practice, the burning question is unavoidable. Are we watching a team building greatness or just masking its weaknesses with individual flashes of brilliance? When it's all said and done, when you put all the pieces together, the portrait of the 2025 Seahawks is a paradox. Kenneth Walker explodes on offense and reminds us that raw talent can be a game changer. McDonald's defense commands respect with suffocating pressure. Josh Jobe emerges as a symbol of quiet resilience, and Witherspoon embodies the dilemma between risk and necessity. None of this is happening in a vacuum. Every single point reinforces the same tension, that of a team walking a tightrope between evolution and instability. Are we growing into a consistent contender or just getting by on occasional flashes of brilliance? My take is meant to be provocative. Seattle is flirting with something special, but they still haven't proven they can sustain it. And for you, the veteran 12th man, I'll leave you with the question that really matters. Is this mosaic a promise of greatness, or is it just a passing illusion? Drop a comment, join the conversation, and let your voice be heard in our community, because this debate belongs to all of us.